Happy Friday. Welcome to Star Trek Weekly, presented to you by the Poindexter Lounge and the Sci-Fi Center. This week, we will be talking about the recently aired episode, spoiler talk, of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Season 2, Episode 2. Forgot the title. Ad Astra, something, whatever. They say it 10 times during the show, and I still didn't really connect with it. I was connecting with the show on a whole different level. With me is Dave. What's going on?
Oh, not much.
All right. So before we get into the spoiler Star Trek, Strange New Worlds, I have sort of bad news. Earlier today, we got notification. Everybody, Star Trek world got notification that Star Trek Prodigy, a show that I surprisingly liked, being that it's a cartoon and it's aimed for kids, but it was basically a Voyager spinoff, and Voyager was one of my favorite Star Trek shows from beginning to end. So I watched the first season and was kind of broken up the way they aired it and screened it. However, I'm going to go ahead and bring this up. It has been canceled, even though season two is already in post production. They are going to find a home for that, but I'll go ahead and bring this up in the article. But I think it's being canceled for reasons. People came up with a bunch of dumb reasons. Oh, it's woke, and oh, it's this and that, and Paramount doesn't. Now, it's what it comes down to is I don't know if you guys are old enough. None of you probably are, probably other than Fade. There was a show called The Flash in 1990, 1991 that aired on CBS on Saturday night. Awesome show. Had a good viewership, and that was back when Saturday night and was a top night in TV watching. Now it's a graveyard. Had good numbers, even for its time slot, which was 8 o'clock on Saturday night. It ended up getting canceled because it was too expensive to make. So sometimes you can have the viewership you need and the audience you need, but the platform you are on does not justify. And it was standard TV with just basic ad revenue, did not justify what it cost to make that show. And I'm thinking that's the same thing that's happened with Star Trek Prodigy. It just became too expensive for the platform and the audience that they were getting in, and thus it became a casualty of business. All right, so Hollywood Reporter. All right, let's see. The Paramount Global back streamer was canceled Grease, Rise of the Pink Ladies, and after single season, reverse decision on the season to pick up the animated kids-focused Star Trek Prodigy Act competition series. Okay, blah, blah, blah. All right, season two is still happening, just not in Paramount. The Hollywood Reporter notes that Prodigy season two is almost done, so it will finish post-production but be shopped to other streaming services and TV networks. Let's see. And here's some of the social media reactions. Star Trek has taught my brother and me to strive for a better future. While news of Star Trek Prodigy not returning to Paramount is disappointing, we have faith that this show will be picked up by a new home to help grow our fervent fan base and inspire next generation of Star Trek fans. Our talented and passionate team of artists are working tirelessly to complete season two. And we are staying positive and hopeful that our amazing fans will get to see it soon. Janeway will never give up. So why should we? Let's follow our orders and go boldly. So yeah, this is I'm hoping Netflix picks it up. One of these streaming HBO Max picks it up because it did have good enough numbers. I did the analysis today when I was on a different show, and it actually had decent numbers. It's just that it for Paramount Plus where they're at, it just was too expensive for them. So I really do think it'll get picked up. What do you think about that, Dan? I don't know if you watched Prodigy at all.
I've caught a couple episodes of it, and I have a feeling it will get picked up by probably Netflix of all places. Either that or Max, because Max just recently added the Star Trek movies.
Yeah,
Uh, so it'll probably and see that's something that's going on right now, and some people are getting concerned about it, and I think they're getting overly concerned about it. But Max is about to shop out some of its stuff too. They're working on a $500 million deal with Netflix to try to shop out some of its stuff too. So
yeah, which was always going to happen.
yeah, these
And
streaming services, people don't understand. These streaming services are, yes, they are competing with each other, but they're not just competing with each other. They're also working together,
they're
and they're going to
important.
shop their stuff around each other a lot.
Yeah.
So
When Zazoff first took over, dude, I knew that some of the stuff was going to go away, especially the music division. the music division in the days era of music is just not making them profit enough to keep it. So even before the merger was complete, I thought that AT&T would have spun off Warner Music before, but they couldn't find a buyer. So Warner Discovery had to buy it. But it's funny because every time, as soon as I saw that article, completely off topic, but if you think that HBO or Warner Brothers won't sell something major to another streamer, you're a fool. It's business. It's a transaction.
Well, that's the thing. People are again, people every time one of these streamers says something out of the ordinary, people get this the sky is falling, Chicken Little kind of effect. Oh, this is bad. Oh, this is horrible. Oh, this is guys, it'll show up on another streamer. It
Yeah,
always happens. I mean, it may take a little bit, but it'll be there.
I think in Star Trek's case, it'll happen. It'll actually happen sooner than later
Oh yeah,
because
probably.
there's a market for it, and because, like I said, it's just in mid. Its numbers were good.
Yeah.
Its numbers were good. It wasn't like it had failing numbers. So, but yeah, when it comes down to these streamers and things like that, you know, I think fans think that things are competing with themselves.
Yeah.
But if you look at it from a transactional point of view, things like this have been happening for decades now.
Well, it's like
Um,
a point was made on another show I was watching earlier. If there's money to be made, these companies are going to make the money. They're not going to just throw something away. There's always an angle to make money,
yeah, I've
which
been saying
always
that for
which
years.
always makes me laugh when people talk about how Disney makes stuff to lose money. No, they don't. No company buys a property for $4 billion intending not to make money on it. Just doesn't
Now
happen.
they have other revenue sources, so it doesn't hurt them when they blow up something. But it's still somebody's held accountable for that. So
Somebody was like, "Oh, well, Disney lost $900 million in on the movies this year," and I was like, "Yeah, and they made 8, 9 times that on parks and
yeah,
merchandise."
38 billion in annual revenue so far. So Disney's gonna be okay. Disney is gonna be okay. So on to the current episode. We already talked a lot about it when we did the live watch the other night. If you guys didn't get a chance to watch
Oh,
the
by the way,
live watch,
Brian says he'll be here. He's just gonna be a little bit late.
okay, that's fine.
All right.
What was the title again? Hold on.
It was ad astra ad per aspera, which I have pulled up here. It means through hardships to the stars, and it's actually the state motto of Kansas.
Well, there you go. That I didn't. Um, I really like this episode. I mean, I've gotten so prone to action and ship worthy stuff, things blowing up, fighting and everything else, that I forgot that all Star Trek shows can be what this episode was when they needed to be. And this show was just as compelling as a courtroom drama as it was as any other episode was with lights and blow ups and stuff like that. So I
I got
really
into
loved this
I got
episode.
into an argument with a guy earlier. I don't want to see a courtroom drama on Star Trek, and I was like, I listed a list of episodes from all the different Star Trek series that have had courtroom dramas.
Yeah, all the time as a weekly thing, but it can be used sparingly and it can be placed. If you place it where it needs to be, it's fine. Obviously, any type of plot device you don't want to run into the ground, but they don't. You can count on your less than handful of fingers of how many times they've done it. At least once in every iteration,
I
and
think I've seen it.
Except for Voyager.
Voyager did it twice. Next Generation did it 4 times. The original series did it twice.
So I don't remember
DS9
Voyager
did it
doing it.
3 times.
I don't remember Voyager. I could be not remembering, but I remember Voyager. I remember Voyager had like hearings, like with Tuvix and all that. They had hearings and stuff, but it was like this was like a straight up court martial. This was interesting. Like I said, I love the way they found their way out of this situation.
Yeah.
The way the lawyer worked the crowd. So yeah, I was happy with this episode.
Oh, she definitely did a good job. The actress.
Yeah, he's that dude's yeah. Warrior had the Q hearing. That yeah, that was sort of a procedure, but it wasn't like Starfleet type of deal, like if Starfleet on Starfleet. So I get what he's saying though. But yeah, it was. I enjoyed the episode. I enjoyed the acting. The acting in this episode was the best that they've done since they've started this series. I know other episodes have been more gripping, but the acting, the level of acting in this episode was on par with some of the best I've seen in a while. Like I said, when you can do a Star Trek show without all the moving parts, bells and whistles and lights, and still be able to drive home the point like they did in this episode, you can tell it all hinged on the performance of the actors and actresses.
Yeah.
All right. Did you get any? Do you have any pictures that you brought? I forgot to load up pictures.
Oh hell. Hold on. I'll grab some real quick.
Okay, I'll be right back. I got a customer that has just walked in, but give me a couple minutes, guys.
Let me see here. Okay. Yeah, we'll have some pictures here when he comes back. Yeah, that's just I don't get why people have a problem with what Star Trek's doing these days. Like it seems fine to me. I don't know.
All right, I'm back. I just had to help some people. All right, so
All right,
uh,
so here we have. Let's see. Um, you here we go. We'll just share this one first. Back up. Come on. There. No, 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 no. Okay, hold on.
all right, they just feel a need to fabricate it. Somebody on Facebook calls it Judge Judy in space. Yeah, like I said, I tune those guys out because it's like they act like we're some of the stuff that happens in these new Trek shows is brand new stuff that is just never happened. It's like, come on, dude, it's been 50 years of this. I still can't believe she's in her 50s.
There's a picture of Pike there from the episode.
Yeah, his hair went down like we had noticed the other night.
Yeah, I was like, well, what happened to Pike's hair?
I didn't have to cut his hair off of my thumbnail that I made. Not as much of it as I did last time.
There's the Vulcan Tellurite and human the Judge Council, the
Yeah,
Tribunal.
yeah, that Vulcan lawyer, he really made it hard me to want to smack your guy in the head, but he had a legitimate point.
Yeah, he did, but Stella made a point when we were talking about it the other night. When she rewatched it, that Vulcans normally are not touchy people, and the way like he grabbed Captain Patel, the other prosecutor, and like made her sit down when she was about to say something, that's kind of out of the ordinary for a Vulcan.
I
Yeah, here is.
guess. I guess. I mean, I think I think this one particular actress, I forgot her name. I forgot everybody's name tonight. I'm usually good with names, but she did a good job in elevating the rest of the characters.
Yeah,
And she
she
did a
it
good job.
and they I watched the ready room afterwards,
Oh, shit. I knew I forgot to
and
watch something for the show today.
Rebecca Romaine was talking about how this actress just made them all put on their game face. You know, like they want her. They were saying that they want her to come back for a couple more episodes in the future.
Well, and the way she did it, she did it. She brought out their best acting ability that I've seen in this show so far. But she also brought out the dimensions of the characters.
Yeah.
That like Admiral April. I mean, you really saw most affect him because he was kind of hurt by that line of questioning. He was really kind of pissed off. Remember when Pike wanted to pour him the glass? He's like, he listed off all the things that he's done, with all these missions that she brought up. He's like, it's a shame that that Court didn't get to hear it. He kind of took it personally, but I think they all kind of um, understood that it was necessary at the end
Yeah.
there. Especially her. So yeah, I thought it was pretty special. Give me a second here, Dave.
All right. Yeah, Vince, he could be a Romulan in disguise. I hadn't thought about that, but he could be one of the Southern Hemisphere Romulans with the smooth foreheads. Uh, it's possible. All I know is he seems to have it out for Captain Pike. I mean, yeah, he did. He was doing the right thing, and it was all about doing the right thing, or what you perceive to be the right thing. But still, man, he was going a little hard, in my opinion. Hello, Enosh. How you doing, buddy? Yeah, we're doing our usual Friday night thing, musing about the most recent episode of Star Trek. Waiting for William to come back. Apparently, he's got a customer. We're here. We're just waiting for. I'm just waiting for William to get back.
Last one he ever did. He did Kamikaze after this, and he did one more in L.A. And he was gone 9 months later. He died in December, I think, or November. He died in November. Born in December. Yeah.
Do you have by any chance you have a rubber band?
I don't. But here, shoot that box. That way you don't have to walk around and have it blowing in the wind since it's not framed.
Good, because season two's been pretty good. You know,
All right,
shoot,
guys.
we're 2 episodes in, but it's been pretty good.
Okay, sorry about that. Where are we at?
Oh, I brought up like this picture here is from one of the funnier parts of the episode. It's
Okay.
from the
Yeah, pretty much. I know there's a vodka stream going on, but what do you want me to do, man? Sorry. I don't think I'm going to put a dent in Dave's viewership. I think I'll be okay. Oh, yeah, when he was watching the Vulcan's body language. Yeah, I thought that was great.
Yeah, I did some research on Dr. Mbanga. Apparently, and I'd forgotten, I'd read this novel years ago, but there was a novel called The Vulcan Academy Murders,
Oh, okay.
and it talks about Mbanga's time on Vulcan. He actually did his Starfleet medical internship on Vulcan. He was there for 4 years. That's why he knows so much about the Vulcans.
Yeah, that was hilarious when he goes over. I apologize for my outburst.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. Like I said, everybody, everybody on this episode really shined in my opinion. Ooh, that's neat. What's all that?
What, that right there?
Yeah, all that stuff that just popped up on the bottom of the screen. Oh, that's neat.
Oh, these are just it's other stuff, other thumbnails.
Oh, okay. It looks kind of cool in there. Yeah. So I enjoyed this episode. I did not watch Ready Room. I usually watch Ready Room before
Ah,
I do a show like this, but I just forgot. I just today was just kind of wild. Friday's been kind of wild. I was on another show today. We were talking about Trek and other stuff, but and then I just had customers all day. I mean, I literally have customers coming in through right now, so I did not get a chance. And I usually make that a point. I love Ready Room. I think he does a great job with that show. But yeah, watch season 2, man. It's on. Both episodes are on right now, so I implore everybody to watch season 2. But like I said,
Yeah.
I love it. No ship, no. I mean, I didn't. I mean, no really ship or action. It's just weird. No other alien species other than the ones that were involved in the trial, the Illyrians. The history about that, and then one of the interesting things that just because she's what's her face is related to Khan, that doesn't necessarily mean that she shares augmented genes. So I really didn't think about that. I thought, well, for sure that they would zero in on her because she's a descendant, but apparently
Well,
not.
they were talking about that on the ups and downs. Sean Ferrick over at Trek Culture was talking about how it depends on how many generations removed she is from Khan as to whether there's any augmentation left in her blood.
That's true.
And
And
we figured out she's probably 4 or 5 generations removed from Khan. So
yeah, because Khan was sent into exile. Hold on, in the '90s because we
well,
did it
the
in
uh,
1996.
from what I'm hearing, that's actually going to change a little bit in this series. Somebody mentioned that Khan was young in the 2020s. So I don't know. That they're supposedly going to go into that um, during this season of Strange New Worlds.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure they'll bring him up, but you should not see him. You should not see him until regular
Yeah.
because at this point we're gonna start running into some time crunches because Kirk is in this season.
Well, that I think that's going to be explained by what happened at the end. The You really need to watch the Ready Room because they showed the preview for next week, the episode for next week.
Damn it.
There's a time travel element to this next episode.
Okay, are we gonna see our lower decks people next week? Is that the one where they're in it?
No, there's actually a couple of different time travel things going on this season. So
Okay. All right. Well, I'll have to watch Ready Room. See, I've kind of screwed myself by not watching Ready Room before I did this. I'm usually on top of things today, but it's been a long week. Jeez, man, we streamed a lot this week, figuratively. So, um, anything else about this episode that stood out for you?
oh, there's
You
Stella.
guys
Oh,
never mentioned the name of the actor that deserves an Emmy Award.
we couldn't
Um,
remember her name. We brought her picture up. I couldn't remember her name. It's
Yatiri Cotty or something like that. Yeah, I can't read in the dark.
I know she
hold.
popped up
Sorry,
on my
yeah, I would have
Twitter
been here
feed because
sooner.
I follow Strange New World, so she popped up on my feed, and everybody was complimenting her the night of. I think I saw you guys complimenting her. I knew
Yeah.
Dave did.
Hmm.
So she's on your thing. I just don't know how to pronounce it. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
but
No, it's
um,
first name I think was Yatiri. The last name I have trouble with. Was it? It's
Hold on, I'm about to figure that out just
Yatiri.
real quick.
I'll let you guys
Hold on, let
butcher
me
it.
just actually turn on a light.
Let me see if I can get her name just real quick. Because I'm usually good at pronouncing names.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah, it's Yatiti Badaki.
Yatiri. Yeah,
Oh,
Yatiti
Yatiri.
that is.
Badaki.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, she's
and
definitely.
also the further research that I wanted to do before the show, but I couldn't wake up. The writers for the show. This is why they're on strike. Okay. Um,
Wait a minute. Did you take a long nap today? What's going on? What the hell, boy?
We are
insomnia. Don't
usually
sleep regular cycles like normal people.
yeah.
Yeah,
I was up until very early morning Pacific time, meaning I
I
was
don't go to
watching the
bed
11
till
o'clock
3 o'clock.
a.m. news when I went to sleep.
Well, right
Like
now
I
there's a
said,
civil war about to erupt in Russia. In case anybody's interested, nuclear
yeah,
nation.
I just woke up to that one with all the alerts on my phone going, hey.
Dude, between this damn sub and Russia's nuclear, I mean, a nuclear state going to war with its own mercenaries, I'm
Oh
surprised if the ghost of Ricardo Montalban what might come up, and this is where your eugenics wars will start. 'Cause
Oh yeah.
we're living in some strange Star Trekky times, man. It's crazy, man. I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
yeah, because that's what I was doing today, by the way. While I was dealing with customers, getting ready, doing our Indiana Jones promo, doing our Mission Impossible promo, I was heading on the back screen, breaking news. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I hope the right guy wins because if the wrong guy wins, he's going to start playing around with nuclear weapons
Mm-hmm.
or get shot trying to. But hey, at least we can all turn to Star Trek for that hope and optimism, eh?
Well, getting back to the writing, of which I didn't look at the name of the writers. I mean, they were just tying everything into what's going on today. And okay, people who don't like woke or social justice warriors, um, please leave. This show has always been woke, and that's what Gene Roddenberry had intended from the jump, the start. We just have better toys and stuff and technology to show you
Well, that I
his
think we
vision.
as a society have become dumber and unimaginative to where we think anything like that, even though it's been staring us in the face for 57 years of Star Trek,
Yeah,
nothing changed. What changed is that we no longer have the mentality to not classify it, but that's I leave those guys, to their caves and still trying to start fire and hammering their names in the rocks. So those guys, those guys are those guys are not,
thank you, Clinton. I just woke up too. Ah,
Speaking of woke, I just woke up. Yes,
yeah,
yes.
one liners. And good
but
Russians killing Russians away. Yeah, yeah, that's pretty much what it is. It's Russians killing Russians. Oh,
mhm,
wow.
I hope it wouldn't come down to that. It was like between that and watching James Cameron and Bob Ballard talk about submersibles this morning too before I went to sleep.
Yeah,
Oh God, I watched that when you sent that to me. Holy crap!
Yeah.
what they come up with now.
Oh no.
No, James
I thought,
Cameron was James Cameron. Of course, he's very famous for being one of those submersible guys and everything. And he was talking
yeah,
about, yeah, they've been dead for days. Like,
yeah. He said he knew on Monday that his friends that he knew heard they knew about the U.S. Navy picking up
Yeah, sound.
the explosion. Yeah.
By the way, the fact that we're hearing that's not stuff that's the military is supposed to be divulging to the news. That somebody had
Well,
me.
they didn't. That's why everyone was hoping. You know, the
Well, they
banging
told the Wall Street
noises.
Journal and asked the Wall Street Journal to sit on it until they could clarify. You
Yeah.
don't even talk to them though. I mean that those because the type of technology used to detect that kind of stuff is super duper top secret.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, they
Well,
heard the implosion
that's
and
just it. Our Navy knew. The Coast Guard knew. They just couldn't say so in public until they more definitive stuff
well,
was
yeah, well,
covered.
military when it goes to search and rescue procedures, no matter what branch of military it is, even if you have a sign that that most likely they'll say a helicopter or a plane crashes, the likelihood of somebody surviving that is not good. But until we get evidence of proof of death or proof of life, we generally don't. We continue the search. So even though they had that sound of the implosion, the military procedure search and rescue is going to be to continue the search until you have physical or
Yeah.
definite definitive clarification. So a lot of people I heard were like, "How come you're wasting all that money on the search when these guys knew?" No, because
No.
that sound was not conclusive enough.
Yeah.
You
It
know,
could have been. It could have been something else.
could have been another. I mean, it could have been anything. And like I said, you just don't give up. But it's
Yeah.
just a sad situation that you just And then we're talking about space travel, and like I said, you think of where Star Trek is. Think of all the crazy stuff, all the people
Hmm.
that are going to have to die just to get all the kinks out of our space program to be able to do what we're doing in Star Trek.
Oh yeah, because I mean, we know more about space than we do the depths of our own sea, and it's interesting to say the least where the money goes and what
Um,
gets looked at and what not.
it's funny how much we're looking to space, but how much we haven't explored our own oceans
Hmm.
and what's
Yeah,
in them.
yeah, that's what I found out about James Cameron. He has developed his own submersibles to go down even further
yeah,
than the 2.5 miles that Titanic's at. He's gone
He's
down further.
he's the only one that's ever gone to Challenger Deep, which is the deepest point of the ocean.
Mhm.
He spent a lot. Well, he has a lot of money to spend on it too. He could have probably bought this little guy's corporation because now it's going to get sued into a non-existence. But
Yeah, well, even Cameron and Bob Ballard, the man who did the research and found the Titanic wreck, they were like, they knew the CEO, but they thought his methods were a little not safe, and they told him that too.
they told him about the construction, the elements that he used to construct his.
Yeah, and it all came
hydrocarbon,
down to
hydrocarbon.
was it compound composites, which was the carbon fiber.
Yep.
I mean, it survived 58 trips down to Titanic. 59 is when it blew.
Well, something happened because something happened with the control of the vessel that caused it to descend quicker than it was supposed to, and that's where I think the whole crushed. I think that those other, I think he lost control of that vehicle, and it descended quicker than it was allowed to build up, and that sudden crush just damaged it, and that was it.
Well,
They died quickly. They died quick.
yeah, I mean, the thing is, they said either way, it wasn't good, and by the time you realize something's going wrong down at that depth, they were screwed anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I was on the show today with somebody was telling me how your brain comprehends information at a certain rate, and at the fastest the brain could comprehend what was happening, it happened 10 times sooner than that. So they never knew it hit them, which is the best news of all this.
Yeah.
Not that they're dead, obviously, but that they didn't suffocate to death.
Feel it. They didn't suffer.
I mean, they just went. It was over before they knew it. They didn't know it hit them. And it's like, wow, dude. And like I said, we had a different conversation about I talked about this on the show last night about with the memes and things like that. Or I talked about that today on one of the shows. I am just kind of like biting my tongue because the memes about 5 people being crushed to death kind of made me kind of sick.
I'm not offering excuses for them because I when I was watching live feeds on YouTube from all the different news sources, all the people that were just so freaking insulting. And I'm just like, and I did write in one thread, I'm not happy with the 2%, but no one should die that way. No one.
And guess what? Not every billionaire is a piece of shit. Some billionaires donate. Listen, one of the Walton family members, I think it was either Bud, it was one of the brothers. He died in a plane crash, delivering aid and help to people. So he's a multi-billionaire that didn't have. He could have hired somebody to go do that. So we got to be better when it comes to that.
The now deceased CEO, his wife, her great grandparents were the Strausses, the co-owners of Macy's, that went down with the ship because she didn't want to get on the ship and she didn't want to leave him.
Fourth, I don't know, dude. I mean, according to everything I've heard, it's like somebody described it as like this.
Yeah.
That there is no warning. That's why they called it a catastrophic. There was no. It's not like on Hollywood, and I thought that like you were thinking. Obviously, none of us were there. That you hear all this like Hollywood, we have 5 minutes to say goodbye to each other and maybe have intercourse or whatever. It would if it's a James Cameron movie, but every scientist and everybody who I've been watching because I've been following it said they did not know what hit them most likely. And
well, it's just like if you have a catastrophic failure in space with a spaceship. The only reason that the two shuttles that we've had crash or have blow up, the only reason they knew what was going on was because they were still in the atmosphere or they were coming back into the atmosphere when it happened.
Columbia and Challenger happened in our atmosphere.
Yeah, but if you were in space and your ship depressurizes, it's just gonna implode. You're not gonna really know it.
Also, Payne Stewart's plane and another plane, when it depressurized, you just fell asleep. And they never woke up again. It sucked. But hey, let's talk about Star Trek.
Yeah, back to Star Trek.
Real life is depressing this week, boy. Real life is depressing this week.
And this is why we made Star Trek for the escape.
My goodness. I mean, all I do now is murder hornets. But hey, on a bright note, we haven't had a 100-degree day yet here in Vegas. I don't recall.
I have had
I
2
got
weeks
adorable.
worth of 100-degree days. I've had
Hey, I'm
2 weeks
happy
worth.
for you. I listen. I have no sympathy for the rest of the world. I want you all to broil while
It was
I.
it was
Literally,
125 degrees in Corpus Christi yesterday.
wait, hold on.
125
Wait,
degrees.
hold on. I don't have my miniature. I used to actually have a miniature violin here. No shit. And I was going to play it for you because listen, screw the rest of the country right now that's going through heat because listen, this man, the dogs out here can't even walk. The dog can like doing this. All right, you got to have the little things on your dogs. I saw a lady carrying her pit bull last year because she didn't have a little booties on. She was carrying this giant. She was like tiny, carrying her giant dog to the car so he didn't have to walk and burn his feet. That's the hell
Yeah.
I live in. So.
Yeah,
Else,
Stella, we definitely got to get booties for the little guy then.
Well, that's another reason why I wanted to get them. So, just in case.
Well, no, because the only reason I bring up that it was 125 degrees in Corpus Christi is because I'm not used to that kind of weather down here. We never go. Even when it's hot, we barely ever go over 110. Even when it's like extremely hot. The last 2 years, the last 2 summers, and Stella can tell you this, last summer it was just as bad for me. The last 2 summers have been in excess of 115 degrees down here.
Yeah, it's like, their power goes out when it's cold, but so far it's holding out with their triple degree weather, but I could not believe the temperatures in Texas.
Oh, I've been in Texas. I've been all over Texas with the Army. Yeah, Texas is a hellhole when it comes, and it's humid too. Depending on where you're at in Texas, it's not just hot; it's humid.
Yeah, and that's the problem they were having in
people down there, man.
Yes, we do, Clinton. Definitely. What we actually need to do with the fucking power grid, with the power grid, is it needs to go on the national grid, not private. That's the problem with our grid down here in Texas. It's a corporate grid. We're not part of the national structure. And that was done by Rick freaking Perry, who was our governor for 16 years.
Yeah, and all those poor old people froze to death that year. All right, so what's going on for next week? What are the previews? I know we can't play the previews, but what is that?
Okay.
Go ahead and explain it, Stella.
Okay, what you see is Leon is walking down the corridor of the ship. She sees a guy in a 3-piece gray suit, not one of our usual temporal time agents. Slams against the bulkhead. She goes over to help and she looks at his wound and she's like, "That's from a bullet." And then he explains to her something is going wrong. You have to go back and fix it. He pulls out a little gadget from his suit, shows her a diagram, gives it to her, and dies. And when he dies, there's a flash, that goes down the hallway. And she's like, "Okay, I got to go up and tell the captain." She goes up to the bridge, goes to the door. Captain spins around, and it's Kirk going, "Who are you and why are you on my ship?"
Oh, wow. I just heard Robert Meyer Burnett's head explode.
Yeah, probably.
Now. That's the explosion I just heard. Oh, my goodness.
He's already not happy. I'll just put it to you that way. But no, when he shows her the device, there's a diagram on it, and you can see that the timeline is snapped. It's broken. The timeline is fractured.
I love this show. All right, that's all I got. Does anybody else got anything?
No.
Prodigy. I wasn't sure if you're going to show the little things that I found, the little things for Android and iOS, the little screen thing.
Oh, yeah, let's bring that up just really quick off of Twitter. Hold on.
Yeah.
Where's that?
Like I said, I found myself watching Prodigy and enjoying Prodigy, and that is a bet I would have lost with myself.
Yeah, I gotta watch it really quick before it leaves. Now, the reason why I haven't seen Prodigy is because I only saw Voyager up to a point, and I don't know the full history, so their references I wouldn't understand. So I was just going to hold off with it. But I cannot believe Paramount is going to complete the second season, but shop it out. This
Well,
is a
because of money.
Star Trek's a
Because of money.
Paramount product. What's wrong with you people?
Paramount routinely does that, though.
Yeah, I know they've done it with other stuff, but Star Trek?
They did it with the Star Trek movies to Max, honey, just recently.
Yeah, but that's older properties that they're just still trying to generate some income from. But this is brand new, spanking new, not even released yet.
William was saying earlier it's probably having to do with money and the audience, basically, because Prodigy gets good numbers, but it's not the kind of audience that they're going for.
Well, and that it's
well,
like,
I mean, they were supposed to what? I can't remember if they played it on Nickelodeon.
well, Nickelodeon's it's all the same company, though.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. It's still the same company. It's weird things I'm not quite sure.
You have to pay royalties on top of a production cost, and it's an expensive show to do.
Oh yeah, I mean, I admit that. Yeah.
So hey, at least they're gonna shop it around.
Yeah, it's not totally dead. So
yeah. So this is the thing that Stella sent to our personal Twitter back thing the other day. And it's basically like wallpapers for your phone and for your computers and stuff. It's like ours.
You mean I can get something besides the factory one I've had on the phone?
Oh crap! Yeah, I should. I'll get the link to put it in the chat.
And well, like I have this one now, the Strange New Worlds mobile screen wallpaper. You've got the fleet formation map display here. This is for computer. You've got the Strange New Worlds display. You've got Enterprise F bridge display. There's some tactical displays for different ships. You have the VFX plaque for Star Trek. You have the Enterprise G dedication plaque.
Oh, that's neat.
You got the Intrepid warp display. It's just a bunch of like backgrounds and stuff, and some of them are dynamic, some of them aren't. I've got this one up on my phone right now, the Titan mobile wallpaper. I've got it as my lock screen.
I have to mess around with that. All right, guys. I think that we're gonna wrap it up and get warmed up for tomorrow. Hopefully, we don't get kicked off of YouTube tomorrow night. I'm gonna try hard.
Well, that's Netflix's fault. Don't beat yourself up about that. I mean,
I know. I was just mad. I was so pissed off. That was on our way to being one of our most watched shows that we've done on Saturday nights. The only one I think would have been undone. It would have been a Comic-Con show. By the way, I'm going to Comic-Con this year.
Vince makes a good point right here. He says, "I think the cost of Prodigy killed it, especially being 20 episodes a season."
Yeah, that was
because it was designed to be on Nickelodeon, which is network, and 20 episodes is your normal. 26 episodes is actually your normal. But once it doesn't air on there, you still have to pay royalties wherever it's at. And the audience that it garnered just didn't. It garnered a good audience, but like I said, it's like The Flash in 1990. The Flash in 1990, the John Wesley Shipp show, actually drew good numbers, but it was so immensely expensive. No audience that it drew was going to justify the expense for that platform. It just sucks that way. You could do what you're supposed to do, but because of what you're doing and where you're doing it on, that's why another platform, on Amazon or Netflix, they could justify the expense because that's what they do and that's what they have allotted for. So it's not all bad.
Yeah, at least they, they're going to shop it out, and they're not putting a kibosh on the second season, but
and who knows? I like
decent ratings. Hopefully it will continue.
Yeah, me too. So, all right, guys, that's it. That's it for this week. Great episode. Good for the first time to do a live watch. We'll definitely be doing that next week. And that is it for this week and Star Trek Weekly. Like I said, this week it was escape from all the horrible crap that's happening. My goodness, it's been a crappy week. Thank you, Star Trek, and thank you anything else I watched for taking me away from the nonsense that is the rural world. That's for sure. All right, guys, we will see you tomorrow night, 9:30 Pacific Standard Time for the Sci-Fi Center Saturday Overnight Live show. Got a lot to talk about.